Morning, I'm Jon Thelen. Today I'm fish head. We're out pulling some Lindy rigs around trying to get some walleyes. And I'll tell you what, we're having to do things just a little bit different today. I was planning on going out deep this morning. Isn't gonna work. The wind's blowing way too hard to have any boat control out there. So we've changed our tactics a little bit. We're gonna do something that most people don't do, and it catches fish day in and day out. So stay right where you're at. This is gonna be a good one. There he is. Man, this is one of the neatest tactics, what we're doing here. I'm gonna put a mark on this spot right here before we get a whole lot further with this fish, because I came in here and I'm seeing fish all over. And we like I was saying earlier, we went out deep this morning. My hope was that I could go out and fish some of the deeper structure and Lindy rig up a bunch of fish. But here's the problem. I got out there, and let me tell you, it was just too rough. There was no way I was gonna be able to fish out there today the way I wanted to fish. So what I did is I just looked on the map for some areas with structure that I thought maybe we could get up onto and pull some Lindy rigs around and find some walleyes. And as soon as we pulled in here in 15 feet of water, I started seeing fish. And there's a lot of different ways you can fish this, but one of the problems with the situation I'm in today is this water is so clear that walleyes like this one, if I were gonna Lindy rig right underneath the boat, that fish is gonna be spooked all day long. There is no way he's gonna sustain an area or stay in an area with boats right over the top of him. He'll scatter out of there every single time. So what we're doing instead of Lindy rigging, at a 45-degree angle, like you might think we're normally gonna do, what I've done is I've switched to a really light weight. I've gone to a 3/8 ounce sinker, and I'm cruising along in this area, and all I'm doing is casting back and dragging that Lindy rig. A lot of times we don't think about dragging a Lindy rig because we're worried that we're gonna find ourselves in a situation where we're kicking up sediment or whatever it is. But let me tell you something, dragging a Lindy rig can sometimes be the absolute most natural presentation that you can put down there. And that's exactly how you wanna start. I mean, this guy, he was fooled. There was no doubt in his mind that he was eating the real thing coming by. Let's get this guy unhooked and we'll get back in the water there. Let's let that guy go. We'll get plenty of fish today. But man, that right there, that's a great way to start your day, isn't it? There he is. Got him. Oh yeah. I just made that turn, and this fish, he whacked it, and I guess, a lot of times, it can be something really, really subtle. The other thing I did is when I made that turn, I slid out here deeper. And this feels like a pretty good fish. This feels like what we're after. Oh yeah, it's a good eye. Come here, buddy. There we go. Look at that. Man, that's a pretty one too. Look at all that gold color on that fish. Man, look at that. Lindy rigs, I'll tell you what, I think they've been catching fish for people forever. I think when I was a kid, one of the number one ways I grew up fishing with my dad was Lindy rigging. It was just, a fun way to fish. And that's a great fish right there. I'm gonna get him back because he's bleeding just a little bit. There he goes, he'll be fine. Lindy rigs have just caught fish forever. And you go back, the Lindy rig was developed almost 50 years ago. And all said and done, it catches fish in so many different ways. And there's so many different configurations to a Lindy rig as well. Today I'm fishing the 6-foot snell and the standard walking sinker, but you can fish this in a snell that's 2.5 feet long. You can fish it in a Lindy rig extreme snell that's 4 feet long. There's red hooks, there's bronze hooks. Comes with the swivel clip and the sinker. So when you buy this, you can just go out and go fishing. There's no reason to have to tie your own. You've got everything you need right here. And it's really such a simple way to fish as well, because the idea behind the Lindy rig is just to deliver live bait as naturally as you can. And you look at how we're fishing today. I mean, we're just pulling this thing along, and it just looks like that leech is just swimming along, and it's far enough back behind that sinker. The sinker doesn't bother them. These walleyes are just snapping it one after another. If you haven't Lindy rigged in a long time, you need to go do it again, because here's one of the things you'll find out. This is still most likely the best presentation there is for catching walleyes day in and day out on most any body of water throughout the Midwest. Get baited up and get back in there. I think some of these fish might be just a little bit deeper. You can tell, I mean, I caught that fish when I made that swing, and I'm coming out here kind of parallel to the waves, and you know what, I'm graphing fish out here too. Maybe some of them just slid a little bit deeper on us. And then a lot of times that'll happen with these storms like what we're dealing with right now. I mean, you look around, we're in a good bunch of rain again. It's just kind of on and off today, and that's just the way it's gonna be all day, the way it sounds. There he is. Got him. Ooh, that feels like a pretty good fish right there. Man, I'll tell you, you want to talk about weather changes? Have we had weather changes today? You don't ever realize how much the weather sometimes changes in a day until you spend that day on the water. We've had wind changes, we've had rain, we've had nearly sunshine. I mean, it's just constantly changed. But one thing that's been pretty steady is we've been able to catch these fish just lining up and coming along the edge of this reef. And all I've done is looked as I've gone at changing depths just a little bit. But you know what? It's been the same presentation, and it's been effective the whole day. And that's just dragging a Lindy rig. And I'll tell you what, you go out, you drag a Lindy rig, and that's just another perfect eye. If we were keeping him today, he'd be a perfect eye for the live well. But you can do this. It's so simple. It's some of the easiest fishing you'll ever do. And when it comes down to it, Lindy rigs have probably caught more fish than anything else out there. And there's a reason. The bait looks natural, and walleyes like that one, you just can't resist it.